homies. This is your big brother Malcolm, and I want to talk about anime genres. Now, most people know what anime is at this point. Anime is known worldwide. I'm sure there's some people in the Turkish prisons that know anime at this point. But I want to do a series on anime genres. What do they mean? What does that mean to you? What is it that you naturally gravitate towards? What certain biases do you have against certain genres of anime? What certain things draw you into the storytelling, draws you into the story arcs, brings a feeling of emotion, intensity, makes your eyes water, makes you question your beliefs, makes you look at mysteries different. I can't even say who you ship together. Shippers are shippers. But first things first, like we're gonna get started on what most people know, what most people classify, a good starter anime when people pick up anime, and that's shonen animes. Now, shonen is technically, I guess, in a way, it could be a term for like little boys growing up, young men, young boys who idolize characters that show that they have a strong will. They show perseverance in the face of adversity. They are down for their friends. They fight the word for their homies. They go in on villains that are so overpowered, they being overpowered themselves. The stereotypical trope of, the villain trained for a million years and get bodied by the 12-year-old with the power of friendship. Yes, Yugi, I'm looking at you. Yes, One Piece, Fairy Tale, everybody that you can like name off that you got uber strong villains in a universe of uber strong characters, but the protagonist has to be the strongest thing walking. Now, looking at the screen right here, there's so many shonen anime that's more than there's on the screen. We look at as we look at Ichigo, Naruto, Luffy, Kenshin, Goku, obviously Goku. We got Kazuma, and we got my man over here from Yu Yu Hakusho, Yusuke. We got all these characters, and let's also not forget that shonen anime, even though it says it's for young boys, and that type of trope and genre that it is, young ladies can enjoy shonen anime. There are shonen animes that have young ladies and protagonists. It's like we have, obviously, the first thing that comes to mind is, well, Sailor Moon. You can classify Sailor Moon as a shonen, but you can also classify it as something else, which will be another video on that genre of anime. But shonen is just not just based off of boy characters. It's based off of the mindset. It's based off of the way we view life as a young boy, with our imaginations being the biggest, strongest, best, ride and die with our friends. It's almost a growing up tale. And it's about also growing up and not changing, who you are, not changing, what makes you you. So we come over here and we'll have big up screen. So we scroll back up and we're going to use powerlifting fandom. I actually like this site a lot. It's pretty much a wiki, offset of a wiki. And, so when we're looking at protagonists of shonen animes, like I said, again, they're usually young men in their teens. Some of them are younger, like 12, 13. You got some that are older, 18, 19, 20. And these characters exemplify bravery, simplify standing strong in the face of adversity, fighting the toughest fights, having a squad or a crew around them that boost them up. They'll die for it. They will do anything in their power to make sure that they succeed, as long as those characters are making them succeed and helping them along their goals. Now, so the shonen heroes are a trope in anime manga characterized by the main protagonist, and it's a recurring set of characteristics, including but not limited to an energetic, almost childlike demeanor, a charismatic personality, heavy ideas on friendship, a love of food and eating, and being sexually powerful and proficient in combat. So due to their immense power, many shonens have a genuine love of fighting, see combat as a sport, unless they or their friends are in genuine danger and are always looking for a worthy opponent. So, and again, they even have, body types, spiky hair, wide, charismatic smile, and a slim to muscular build. Now, obviously, when we say stuff like that, they mainly gravitate towards, people like Ichigo, Luffy, and Naruto. If anybody decides they want to say that Baki is a shonen anime, it is not. And I'll die on that hill alone if need to be. I don't think anybody believes it's a shonen anime, but you never know, because there's no possible way that a high schooler is looking like he's Kimbo Slice without the beard, fighting grown men that do the most horrific things, and he's just like, yeah, I'm out here fighting like them. Let's not get started on his dad. But shonen animes are things that I think we grew up with, and when we look at anime, it's what most people think of. Like, again, let's not talk about the popularity of Dragon Ball Z. Now, it took a minute for Dragon Ball to come over here to the West, and me personally, I found Dragon Ball a little boring, but that's because I watched Dragon Ball Z first. I watched and finished Dragon Ball because I need to see, you know, characters in their original setting, Goku, growing up, Bulma, all of them. So I need to see all of them, before we knew them, and how we knew them, before that first, major fight with Raditz. So that's why I watched Dragon Ball. But would I rewatch it again? No. But shonen characters, amplify the goodness in people. Simplifies things that we all hope to strive and become. Now, that doesn't mean that shonen protagonists and shonen mangas and animes are not without their controversies. And I think mainly mostly because people get tired of static characters. Like, people get tired of not having growth in certain characters. And there are character developments and arcs, but sometimes people are afraid of looking at characters and being like, how can you still be the same after everything you went through? And that can be a reflection of trauma in their lives. So it could be a reflection of, them wanting the story to move into a certain direction that's not going to, and being mad with the developers and writers and the producer of the show saying like, hey, this traumatic thing happened. Why is this character still smiling? Why this character still has this will? And that's the whole point of these type of animes. This genre is that their worldview does not change, because that character will always stand tough when the world around them is ending, no matter how many people, unfortunately pass away or they be betrayed. Their worldview may get shooken, but it never breaks apart. So they will always maintain that sense of consistency, and it kind of rubs some people some way, because there's sometimes that you just get fed up with the small things. The small things you get fed up with. So, like, for instance, flaws. Showing characters being depicted as being extremely dim-witted, idiotic, impulsive, or naive. You can't say Ichigo is dim-witted or idiotic. He is kind of impulsive, and he can be kind of naive. But his impulsiveness and the naiveness behind him is not in such a way where it detracts from anything major. Like, it's funny, like he doesn't notice or he makes advances and stuff like that, or the way she feels about him. Now, honestly, well, I'm not gonna spoil it because it hasn't came out yet, but you got people like Luffy, where Luffy probably gets on a lot of people's nerves because This man has a queen of an all woman island, you know, wanting that stretchiness, and he's so oblivious and over the top. Even the other characters in the ship notice, Nami and Robin walking around in their type of dress sometimes. But Luffy is so oblivious to the world around him, except for when it comes to saving his friends, eating, sleeping, and finding One Piece and becoming king of the pirates. That annoys a lot of people because, the character growth just doesn't seem to be there. It's not saying that Luffy can't get serious. Obviously, he can, but his seriousness still goes off of being goofy. We thought that we was gonna see major character growth after his brother Ace had died, but he kind of remains the same a little bit. You could tell that he matured somewhat after the training arc that they all had. But I think that was more to establish his conqueror's hierarchy, and that was really about it. Then you have Naruto. Now, honestly, Ichigo and Naruto, to me, when it comes to the big three in Shonen, well, big three in general, is character growth, because Naruto had to grow up and accept that he could not save everybody. He had to grow up and accept that he wasn't invincible. People died around him. He spent most of the series trying to save his friend, and let's face it, he did a terrible job at it, kind of. Now, again, with women, he's pining over a girl that doesn't love him. He has a girl that does love him, but I'm not really going to blame him too much like that because of her passiveness and her shyness that goes towards him. But he had literally, I want to say, 3 characters, 3 females that were pretty much like, hey, like, yo, let's get it. And he either took it as a joke, didn't believe it, was not looking that way, or he just was just like, nah, this ain't the moment, because again, his main goal is saving the village and becoming a Hokage. So, I mean, those type of things throw people off a little bit. Also, too, the goofy stereotype of just being impulsive and just being so over the top. For me, when I watch Fairy Tale to me was good, but it didn't really start getting good till later when we had calmed down a little bit on the super over the topness. Natsu, Gray, Aressa and all them. Like all them, had this serious goofiness to them that it took me a minute to get behind. Once I finally doubled down into the story, that's when things started picking up for me and the characters started growing. And like I said, they had to fight through adversity, but adversity made them stronger. It changed them to be better. And it literally really worked out. It really worked out. So when people are looking at these type of animes, it's a trope of being better than your surroundings, being better than yourself, knowing your potential, and fighting the good fight to reach your goals. You cannot get there by yourself. You must have a team, a squad, a person that believes in you. You must have adversity. Whether that adversity is obstacle in an opponent, shonen could be, coming to age with sports. So it could be a sports anime. Like I said again, I'm a little old school. So Prince of Tennis, stuff like that. It could be even just school life. You have animes that it just deals with somebody having that dominant will of getting through school, getting into college. So it's a little bit of something for everybody. So when people pick up this genre anime, you got to look at it in the lens of motivation. Now, the fighting and all the stuff like that, always over the top. It's always over the top is shonen animes. Always, blowing up. It always starts off with, hey, can we blow up a building? Blow up a house. Till, can we blow up a street, a block, a neighborhood, a city, a couple of mountain ranges. Like these, it's always over the top, and people love the action. People love seeing, the villain being dominated and overcame. And I do like animes where people lose the fight. Shonen characters rarely lose fights, but when they do, it's impactful. I don't feel the impact as much when it comes to One Piece, because One Piece, Luffy loses a fight, and that's how he comes back to a fight. He's gonna win, and that's usually the trope. If they're gonna lose a fight, obviously that's how they come back and fight and win. Or they can beat them in the first try with the power of teamwork, or if you believe in the heart of cards. Because let's face it, the luck of Yugi pulling out his Sodia, really, okay. Now, and which is funny because everybody looking at Yugi, the most relatable character in the series probably was Joey. Joey is, if you look at the list of the top duelists, Joey is the third top duelist, with Yugi being on top, then Kaido, and then Joey himself. So I mean, Joey always was a good duelist. He just kind of didn't have, and he still kind of doesn't have decent cards like that. He just worked the way he had to his best advantage. But it's not like he had never really updated his deck to be really a top 2 contender. No one has to worry about getting to, Kaiba or Yugi, because they're not going to be Joey. That's my opinion, of course. So at the end of the day, look at these animes, enjoy them, and realize that you're going on an adventure. These animes will take you on an adventure, and you will either like it or you won't. So I think the next video is probably going to be a slice of life genre, and I hope everybody's going to have a great day. Like and subscribe if you like the content. Please leave me comments on how I can update and make my videos better. I want to give the best content to you guys, and I hope everybody's rocking.